Hey, hi, hello friends. We're here to discuss our very own queen of body positivity, Tess Holiday. So if you're somehow new to this channel and this is the first video you've ever stumbled upon by me, then you might not be aware of this fact, but I do not like the body positivity movement, and I especially do not like Tess Holiday. And I want to talk about some recent news that has come out about her. If you guys aren't aware who Tess Holiday is, let me give you a really quick rundown. Tess Holiday is a single mom, a very firm pusher of the body positivity movement, and she is a morbidly obese supermodel. Actually, I don't know if she's a supermodel or if she's just a model. I don't know what the distinction there is. I think she's a supermodel, but I don't know. She has walked for many prestigious fashion brands. She is absolutely stunning. She's got this gorgeous red hair, always has her makeup done flawlessly. I have no issues with there being a plus-size supermodel, an obese supermodel. I think everybody deserves representation, and you deserve to see somebody who looks like you represented in the media. My issue comes in with the fact that Tess Holiday has this brand. It's called F Your Beauty Standards, and she likes to promote that brand with the message of body positivity and health at every size. Now, you guys should know this about me, but I am very anti-health at every size. I think health at every size is an absolute scam. The way that it is currently run, I should say. Because the concepts of health at every size are fine. Oh, by the way, my mirror is right here if you're curious. The concepts of health at every size are actually perfectly fine. I think that there's a lot of truth in what they're trying to promote, which is that you can have healthy activities at every size. You can do things that are good for you at every single size. Unfortunately, the movement has taken, shall we say, a sinister turn, and Tess Holiday is one of the biggest perpetrators of it. Everything that I'm wearing on my face is linked down below. These are just my base products. You guys have seen me wear them a bajillion times. Tess Holiday is, in my opinion, one of the worst influences that I've ever seen. Being that she's so beautiful and being that she has so much influence, and she's broken into an industry that mostly features very anorexically skinny women, she has attracted a very unique kind of audience. And she uses that to push for the false belief that there's nothing wrong with being obese. She is also, if I can put it in so succinct a term, she's an attention whore. She loves being talked about. And if you guys don't know what's happening with her, if you guys don't follow her on a regular basis, which is fine, not everyone has to, not everyone should, most people shouldn't, I would say. But recently, she has been out of the public eye for a little while. She came back with an announcement telling media sources and announcing on her Instagram that she has anorexia. So let's talk a little bit about what anorexia is. If you guys don't know, anorexia is the most deadly, singular, like no bars hold, the most deadly psychiatric disorder. People die from anorexia all the time. And quite frankly, anorexia is on the rise. The more I think it's to do with the body image that people have of themselves, that being exacerbated by seeing these hyper edited images, especially on sites like Instagram. And it's been on the rise. And with the rise of the body positivity movement, anorexia is something that is, I think, not really been at the forefront of people's minds, right? People talk about anorexia, but they talk about disordered eating, they talk about binge eating disorder. But I think anorexia is something that people expected would be less prevalent given the rates of obesity rising. Another thing you want to know about anorexia is that there's two different forms of anorexia that are relevant to this story. There's, of course, many different subcategories or many more things that you should keep in mind. Anorexia nervosa is the one that we hear about the most often. It's like the supermodel issue, right? Where you are eating very few calories, where you can pass away from it by multi-organ failure, essentially. And then there is atypical anorexia. And the reason that atypical anorexia essentially exists is that they were finding, psychiatrists were finding, people were finding that there were a ton of women out there who fit all of the other symptoms of anorexia, but who did not have the one key symptom of anorexia that people use to diagnose women who have anorexia, right? They didn't have the extreme underweight. And I'm not sure why that is exactly. That could just be that they're in the beginning throes of it, or that they have a cycle where they go in and out of it. I am not an expert. I can't say. But they were finding they had all the psychiatric hallmarks of it, just not that one physical characteristic. Now remember, one of the biggest giveaways for whether or not you have anorexia is an extreme fear of becoming morbidly obese, an extreme fear of gaining weight, an extreme fear of just generally what would be considered even healthy weight loss, right? And extreme consciousness about your image. And we've seen that in the likes of Eugenia Cooney. So now we can look at Tess Holiday. Just to back up what I think Tess Holiday is doing and why I think she's behaving the way that she's behaving, I just want to point out something very quickly. Tess Holiday, the last time she was talked about was the best and worst list, I think, of, I want to say it was the Grammys. The palette that I'm using today is the Milani Gilded Terra palette. I just bought it. I was at the store to get some Vapor Rub. As you guys know, I'm still not feeling 100%, and I ran out of Vapor Rub. So I went to go get some, and I saw this, and I had a coupon for $6 off, and I couldn't resist. So I got it. This is what it looks like on the inside. Very pretty. I'm not sure about the quality of it just yet, but I'll let you guys know. Anyway, before this entire debacle, the last time that she was talked about was in terms of the best dress list. She had worn that strawberry dress that went absolutely viral. And she had gone online saying that, you know, she was put on the worst dress list, just, you know, for wearing this dress. And then someone else, I think, wore it a little while later. And it became extremely popular. And the reason why she was on the worst dress list was because she was fat. And the funny thing about that was that she was not on the worst dress list. No one said she was on the worst dress list. She just wanted attention, you know, here's the attention you ordered, ma'am. And this is what this is exactly. She has not had any headlines in the papers recently, and so she decided, hey, let me, you know, talk about this thing that impacts a ton of supermodels, this thing that has killed a ton of supermodels. Let me talk about it. Let me essentially weaponize people's concerns over mental health. Let me weaponize people's concern over anorexia, especially in today's day and age where being extremely thin is something that gets you mocked. And let me make it about myself, right? Let me center myself in a conversation that really has very, very little to do with me. And that's what she did. She put out, you know, this incredibly upsetting Instagram message saying, you know, I've been battling with anorexia and I've been dealing with it in private, but today, you know, I've decided to overcome it. This is for everyone and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to leave it up on screen so you guys can actually see it. The fundamental fact that you should take away from this video is that I do not believe her. Do I have to believe her? I suppose not. I am not a professional. But do I think that she's seen professionals and gotten their accurate assessment on it? I don't know. I can't say. I think that she's a bold-faced, scammy liar, but that comes from the way that she has portrayed her brand. F your beauty standards. You remember I cleverly foreshadowed it before. Anyway, the thing about F Your Beauty Standards is that she has pushed loving yourself, loving the way that you look, being comfortable in your fat, being fat, confident, and happy in this brand the whole time. She's got videos upon videos on her Instagram feed of her just flaunting her half-naked, extremely obese body. Is there anything wrong with that? No, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that if you are obese, you cannot flaunt it. Anyone can flaunt whatever they want. I don't care about that. But she has been doing that. And the reason that I mention it is because if you have anorexia, you would not feel comfortable doing that. You would feel such shame at having gained weight. You would feel such shame at being obese that you wouldn't be able to put any of those images online. The color that I have blended into my crease, by the way, the first color that I used was the color Slow Burn. Now I'm using Believe. It's like this dark green color. I love greens, if you guys can't tell by my assortment of green shirts. She has talked endlessly about, you know, eating pizzas, eating a whole cake for her birthday, being fat and proud and happy. So there's two things that could be happening here. Either that was projection or this is a lie. Because you can't have both. You can't have a very public history of being happy about being fat and then have a very public outcry and basically, making a very public post and making a very public statement about how you've been battling anorexia. You can't have both. You can't be both extremely happy to be fat and confident in who you are, or you can be someone who's suffering from anorexia. But those two things, unfortunately, are completely the opposite of each other. She doesn't even mention anything about how what she was saying before was a lie, how she never really felt it, how she felt ashamed and disgusted. And maybe that's because she knew that no one would believe it. You look at her videos, you look at what she's put on her page, and no one watching it would believe that this is a woman who thinks that being obese is extremely bad, that it makes her disgusting, that it makes her unlovable. And I'm not saying that those things are true. I'm saying that that's what people who have anorexia think about themselves, that if they gain weight, they're disgusting, they're unlovable, then no one will want them. So how can you come on here and say that? How can you come on here and say that, well, I have anorexia? All this really boils down to is this. Tess Holliday is an extremely short woman. She's, I think, like 5'2", I think. She's very, very short. She doesn't fit any of the proportions of a supermodel other than that. She's also 35, right? Which puts her significantly above the age of most models while they're still working. The only thing that really has her in the papers, that has her getting shows, is the fact that she's the token obese woman walking on the runways. If you see, there's no other supermodels except for Tess Holliday who are doing that. And she wants to keep that going. She wants to keep getting shows. She wants to keep pushing the fact that, I'm a supermodel, I can do this, so can you, and build her brand and essentially monetize off people who I'm very, very certain have some form of eating disorder or another. And the way that she can do that is by getting in more shows and being in the paper and being photographed wearing these really beautiful outfits, right? And to do that, she needs to keep her name in the paper. She needs to keep her name in the headlines. She needs to be, quote unquote, a semi-celebrity. Because otherwise, why would designers pick her? Why wouldn't they pick someone who has the proportions of a typical model, just happens to be obese, even if they do want an obese model? They don't want a obese model. They want Tess Holliday, because Tess Holliday is a brand name. Tess Holliday has a following behind her. Tess Holliday is a quote-unquote influencer, right? It's like having Rihanna at your fashion show. Rihanna isn't a supermodel. Rihanna is absolutely stunning. This is not me saying that she's not beautiful, but Rihanna is not a supermodel. You have Rihanna there because she's goddamn Rihanna, right? Like, she is incredibly talented. She has a following outside of just clothes. She has a following of, like, she's internationally famous. And that's kind of what Tess Holliday is. She's using her celebrity to bring herself into these positions, into these jobs that she would not otherwise have, despite her being a model. Most people want very, very tall, very statuesque women, and generally a lot younger. You can say whatever you want about it being height discrimination, about it being age discrimination, and I think you'd have a fair enough point about it, but it is what it is, right? Like, let's not sugarcoat it here. So she wants to make herself the token fat girl who is at all of the shows. And to do that, she needs to she needs to stay relevant, essentially. And she does this by every few months creating an outcry on her page about some perceived flaw, some perceived attack that she's facing. And she's done this repetitively. She did this with that strawberry dress, and she's doing this again now. And she does this just to make herself feel relevant. Here's the attention that you ordered, like I said before. I think it's revolting. I really, really do. Like I said, anorexia is the most deadly psychiatric disorder overall. It has claimed more lives than anything else. And the fact that she is essentially trivializing it and weaponizing it is just, it's awful. It's awful and it's disgusting, And now if there are other supermodels, if they come out and say, well, I also have anorexia, I also have an issue. Like how likely do you think it is that people are now going to come out and say something, right? Do you think that they're going to worry? Do you think that they might not worry about stuff like, well, do you think people are going to think I'm trying to take the focus away from Tess Holliday? And how likely do you think it is for people to look at Tess Holliday and think, oh, well, maybe I have anorexia and maybe I have this issue. And even though they have no other hallmarks of it, maybe they're going to try and shop for that diagnosis. Look, I don't know what the net result of it is. I just think that if you are not suffering from something, maybe don't adopt that as a title, right? Like, don't make it about yourself. Don't center yourself in a conversation that has nothing to do with you. Leave it to people who actually have this disorder. And if you have this disorder, be honest with people, right? I can't conclusively say that she does not have anorexia, but I can conclusively say that I have seen a ton of her Instagram posts, and never once has she looked uncomfortable in her body. Never once has she seemed disgusted with her fat. Never once has she said that, maybe I shouldn't do this. Never once has she talked about covering up. No. All the other hallmarks of anorexia are missing, right? So just her saying that she has anorexia apparently should be enough for us, and that we shouldn't question the words of a person who has attacked others for wanting to lose weight, even if it's for their health. This is the woman who will attack her followers because they said that they want to lose a little bit of weight so they can be a little healthier. That's the kind of person that she is. But we're not supposed to question it because, I don't know, because I guess that would be wrong to question someone's mental health diagnoses. And for the most part, I think if it's someone in your personal life, right, for the most part, I don't think you should. But when you've got someone like Tess Holiday who stands to gain so much from these stories written about her, from being in the media, I do think maybe take everything with a grain of salt. I'm sorry to say this, but even people who are suffering from mental disorders can be manipulative. Even people who are morbidly obese can be manipulative. You don't have to be thin to be an awful person. Tess Holiday has shown that to us over and over and over again. The blush that I'm wearing is Tarte's Partey, and the highlighter that I'm wearing is Fenty's Hustla Baby. Anyway, that will be it for me. This was a little bit of a shorter video. I just kind of wanted to get my thoughts out. Tess Holiday really, really deeply upsets me. I think that she is genuinely a bad person. There's very few people out there that I would think that way about. I feel that way about Virgie Tovar as well. I think they do their audience a big disservice. Sorry, I'm trying to unwrap a lip gloss that I want to wear, but because I am bad at life, it is very hard. Oh my God. This gloss is called She's All That. It is a Milani gloss, a Ludicrous? Did he approve this? This is a Ludicrous lip gloss in the color She's All That. And I'm going to put it on my lips because it looks pretty and I want to. It looks a lot like the Fenty Universal Gloss Bomb, but it's a lot stickier. Though I like the smell of it. I don't know what it smells like. I'm not good at describing scents or recognizing them, but I do like it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you hated this video, you can give me a thumbs down. That's totally okay. I respect everybody's opinions here. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit the notification bell down below and hit all if you want to know when I upload any videos right away. I've got all my social medias linked down below. I've got Instagram, where I've got, food stuff, life stuff, more stuff always coming. I've got Twitter, where I've got my opinions and I'm a little toxic and a little petty. And I've got Patreon. Think of Patreon as the tip jar for the internet. So if you like the job that I'm doing here and you would like me to continue, hey, consider tossing a few coins in my direction. You don't have to. It's not necessary. But if you did, I would really appreciate it, and it really does help the channel out. As always, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I'm not relatable. Oh God, my voice. And I am not relatable. Peace. Special thank you to my patrons: Acrophobe, Ariel M, Christina, Courtney EP, Wild Rose, Xanthal, Jam Beans, Jay Thomas, Lauren Chris, Michael B. Petty, Debbie Elliott, Julia Q, Kate O, and a special thank you to my $25 patron, D. Higgins. You guys want to know something really funny? I once had this whole dream where I was talking to partner, and partner and I were having an argument in our sleep. I was dreaming, and partner and I were having an argument, and partner turns to me, and at the end of the argument he goes, "You know what? Ludicrous isn't even that good." And then I woke up in absolute tears, and I was so mad at him because I was like, how dare he say something so awful to me? And it's weird because I'm not even that big of a fan of Ludicrous. I like his music, but I'm not a crazy hardcore fan. So